Laura took the kids to go to a dance recital in Bay City, so they'll be gone like until probably pretty late tonight, which gives me a bunch of time to do car projects. And that means I can replace the shifter bushing in this car, which is absolutely terrible right now. The shifter just moves up and down quite a bit. So I'm gonna do that first, and then that should only be a couple minute job, and then I might put on the traction bar in the front too. I normally would use the lift, but the trailer is blocking it right now. So I'm gonna just go there, grab jack stands, jack this car up, and see how it goes. I also put the ceramic coat on the glass, which I don't know if you're supposed to or not, but it doesn't look streaky or gross. I figured it's probably a lot like just like Rain-X or something. So I forgot to film when I first got here, so it's been sitting in the rain for a while, but it is still remarkably clean. Like, it's relatively dry. There's some big drips and stuff, but like it's raining right now, so like the back of the car is always the dirtiest. So you can see like well, I missed a big spot right here, so that's actually pretty interesting. I obviously didn't get this spot, so it's like totally different looking. So this wax is pretty remarkable. Like I said, for 15 or 20 bucks or whatever it was. Yeah, that's amazing. In other news, found the jack stands, and I also found some other stuff that will be cool. One of the missing plugs for the front bumper indicator lights, PM6 ECU, which is probably not worth anything, but I have 3 other ECUs at my house, so I'll probably just put them on eBay or something, go back to my house and start tearing apart the CRX. So now I'm back home, and this car, I gotta say, it looks so good still. I mean, obviously it's wet. The back, you know, the dust that settles on the back normally from like the exhaust and stuff is still there. But overall, it does look significantly better than how it did before. So I'm gonna get this car uncovered, jacked up, and start working on it. So something I think that is so cool about this car, the suspension is so stiff that it's completely off the ground, and there's only like an inch more wheel gap. Literally, it like gives almost nothing when you take the weight off of it even. First, I'm gonna put jack stands under, find something to lay down, and then go into the car. I have a 1320 Performance solid aluminum shifter bushing. Why use the perfectly good brand new vehicle lift when you can use a couple of jack stands and a floor jack? So basically what happened with my shifter isn't that, I mean, the bushing is obviously bad, but it's so bad that it just rusted all the way through. I will be able to hopefully just zip it out real quick, put the aluminum one on, and change the one on the end of the shifter. This thing should be ready to rock again. This thing sucks, look at that. All right, so I'll show you a comparison of the old and the new. This is the old, big old piece of rubber, rusty piece of metal. This goes here, and the shifter thing goes through there. So you got some ability for it to move. Here's the new one. Solid metal, no bushing at all. So basically it's just gonna mount the shifter rod thing right to the chassis, which means that it'll stay put and keep the shifter hopefully in position a little bit better. I'm gonna pull out the rest of these bolts and then pop the shifter out and see what we got. Something interesting about me is that most of the stuff that I do, you're watching it happen for the first time I've ever done it. So like, I've never changed a shifter bushing in a Honda. You know, I'll like watch a video or read the instructions, but for the most part, I'm just kind of just putting stuff together in the same order that I took it apart. All right, so the first part of the bushing is installed. I don't know where these washery looking ones, I don't know where these go, so I'm gonna Google that real quick and then be back. All right, I sort of got this job kind of done. I don't have a clue where these things go, so I gotta go wash my hands and then look that up. And then number two, the part that holds the ball of the shifter into the car so it rotates around is bad, so I gotta look up that, and then hopefully I can just grab one in an auto parts store and come throw it in the car, and then my shifter woes will be done and I can move on to other woes. All right, turns out I'm dumb. It's just the bushing that I couldn't figure out where it goes. Literally just goes on the other end of the thing. I just have to take it out in order to be able to see how it fits in there. So all right, so in this one we're replacing this rubbery guy with this solid aluminum. I definitely am just gonna go for it on the traction bar. It's basically 4 bolts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 bolts that hold the radius rods in. So I'm gonna go some PB Blaster, soak these things a little bit. This cross member is so gross. It's been hacked up. I don't know if you can see it from here, but it's been hacked up because at some point this car had a turbo B series on it. So it's just like, it's a disaster. It's rusted. It's like they cut it with a torch. It's so bad. I can't wait to get the K tuned on here. Got nothing else to do. I might as well just throw it on right now and call it good. It has just started pouring rain, so I won't be able to test drive tonight, but I got the radius rods completely unbolted, and now I'm going to pull out one of these cross arm bolts on each side, then put the floor jack under it and lower it down. That was much easier than I anticipated. Here I've got the old hacked up cross member. You can see literally they just like beat it with a hammer, cut it with a torch, and then the new K-tuned, beautiful. It's significantly lighter feeling too, so I'm so stoked about this. It's like one of my favorite things. Look at this rain. It's crazy. All right, back to work. I want to get this in the car. All right, I got both radius rods in. They're just kind of hanging here. I haven't snugged them up all the way on the lower control arms, but I've run into 2 issues. One, this radius rod, one side the threads aren't, they just kind of like bottom out. It also says in the instructions, if I would have read them in advance, that this bolts up right here using the bolts for the factory tow hook or tow hooks, and this car has not had factory tow hooks in about 300 years, so I don't know what size those are or anything, so I have to figure that out and run to the store and get some, I think, or I might have some here, but I don't know. It's kind of a long shot. So that is what I'm working on, and right now I'm going to test fit the K-Tune traction bar in there just to see how it lines up, and then figure something out for bolts, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I have the traction bar sort of lightly bolted in, and then once I actually have this thing bolted in, I'll dial it in so it's like exact. But for now, I just want to get it relatively close. Alright, traction bar is installed mostly. Like I said, I have to get the proper bolts to get it secured in fully, but other than that, the radius rod thing didn't end up being an issue. It was like the exact perfect length, and it looks sweet. So I was thinking about putting a front lip on the car, but now with the K-Tune traction bar like down low like that, I feel like that looks too sweet. Like, I don't know. This is like the upgraded traction bar for a B series, so that if I ever put a B series in this, I could put the front motor mount on too. I don't know if this will work with a D series or not. I guess I could just pick around with it and try real quick. So definitely have to take it for a test drive. Super pumped about this shifter situation. I hope it feels a lot tighter. So already the clutch feels so much better. The shifter too, actually. This car still has almost a full tank of gas. I've driven it probably 100 miles. Oh my God. Night and day difference on this shifter. If you have a Honda and you don't have a solid shifter bushing, like before there was so much play in the shifter, now it's just solid. Like there's a little bit of movement, like it's so good. one of the many things on the list, this car's speedometer doesn't work, and I think it's because this speedo is cable driven and the transmission is a sensor, but you're supposed to be able to put the cable into the sensor hole and it should work. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but oh, it shifts so good now. It's raining and I don't have windshield wipers. So the nicest thing is, look at this. So the shifter moves with the transmission, but when you're driving otherwise, it doesn't move at all. Like, before this was all over the place. So it's nice, you get the feel of the engine, but you don't, the car's turning radius is incredible. So sick, I love it. In other news, it is raining pretty hard now. So the lack of wipers is certainly not a good thing. So the traction bar that I put in is one that has a B series front motor mount, and I just kind of playing around with that piece because obviously this car doesn't have a B series in it anymore. I found that I can hook it up still on the D series, so it'll only use one mounting bolt, but that's better than no front motor mount. That should take a ton of the shifter movement out of it, so that'll be pretty sweet. I just have to get a couple more bolts, so tomorrow I'll go to the store, get the grade 8 bolts to put this back together, and then get the bolts for the front motor mount, and I don't know, anything else I can think of.